Atiku Isa, the factional president of the National Association of Nigerian Students, who accused President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's son, Sheyi Tinubu, of kidnapping and torturing him over his refusal to accept a 100 million naira bribe to support President Tinubu, has now released a statement on Facebook apologizing to Sheyi Tinubu. He stated that he was misled by Ladoja Olushola into believing that the president's son was responsible for orchestrating the attacks against him. Isa made the damaging statements on April 30th during a press conference in Abuja, saying that the Minister of Youth Development had offered him the 100 million naira bribe and that he was subsequently attacked and abducted. His apology to Sheyi Tinubu on Facebook has been met with reactions. Well, let me read a part of his post before I take this comment. Well, Isa wrote on Facebook, allegedly, that it has become imperative to note that the offer of 100 million naira, which was alleged was made to me to support President Tinubu, was clearly untrue, as Ladoja Olushola, who was desperate to get me out of my legitimate position as the duly elected president of the National Association of Nigerian Students, fed me the lies and half-truths for the sole purpose of achieving his selfish agenda of taking over the reins of the student body through the back doors. It was also Ladoja Olushola who warned me that Mr. Sheyi Tinubu could order my killing and thereafter instruct the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kayode Egbetokun, to bury the matter. I also stated, among other things, that Sheyi Tinubu led thugs to the venue of my inauguration. This was very untrue. I made these claims owing to the picture of Sheyi Tinubu painted to me by Ladoja Olushola, who swore to me that Sheyi was doing everything to ensure I am not alive to serve my tenure as NANS president. In fact, I later found out that Mr. Sheyi was nowhere near the venue. And this is supposed to be coming from Comrade Atiku Isa on Facebook. Rufai, when I read the statement, I said the statement is incomplete. He did not explain to me as to us as to who actually ordered the beating, who beat him up. I mean, we need more, from him if, he actually put out the statement. We have covered the story at length, but, we got a statement, I believe, from, the NANS group. And if I can read that statement, it wrote, despite the recent public outcry about the abduction of Comrade Atiku Isa Abubakar and the disruption of the inauguration of NANS executives at Wells Carlton Hotel, Asokoro, Abuja, Comrade Isa Atiku Abubakar has not been seen in public. He has been detained in a hospital and all his means of communication has been confiscated by the Department of State Services, DSS, as I speak with you now. He is still convalescing. I want the general public to disregard any statement of apology purportedly emanating from him, as this is coming from a coerced and subjugated comrade. We will provide updates about the incidents as the events unfold, and we want to implore all Nigerians to speak up at this precarious period of repression. And this statement is from Orowole Eniola Awoyemi, and he is the NANS PRO. Dr. Bati, are you laughing at my English? I did it well, didn't I? My Yoruba. I'm doing well. I can't be sitting with two Ogun. Yes, exactly. Two Ogun greats and not be able to speak Yoruba. But this is really a sad incident, Rufai. We're getting these two reports now, one from the PRO, and then we're getting a Facebook post, not a video, not a comment, not a voice note from Isa.
So a couple of things. I mean, it speaks for itself. A man has been bruised. He's in hospital recovering. He put out this message. He said all his phones were with DSS and all of that. All of a sudden, you see a message from him saying otherwise. Then who beat him in the first place?
Who beat him? So that's today, my own. Who beat this man? We begged Carlton
Wells here to please show us the CCTV footage. Let's have a full CCTV footage. We've not been able to see anything for that. I called for, when I was making my, my depositions here, a full independent investigation without the police, without the DSS. Because when you say the DSS are taking this up and all of that, they are already part of this case. I want something devoid of them. I know there are security agencies, but something devoid of them. And now you're seeing a quick reporter that, hey, this is intimidation. Somebody could write something through the page. Except we have a full-on deposition from the man that was beating himself. I will not believe any apology that was written. You see, it just shows high-handedness in this country. We must be able to get to the end of the matter. And why is NAS featuring prominently in the affairs of politics? That shows that Nigeria is already been bastardized. If you're supposed to be a student union to fight for the rights of bodies, see, if politicians wants to do politics in the university level, they should set up APC youth wing in universities, like they do in other parts. They should set up PDP youth wing in universities. So the Conservative Party in England has a youth wing in Oxford. Most of the people that eventually become prime ministers, they were members of the Conservative Party from university days. Let us leave independent associations away from politics, because all of this is connected to 2027. So except we have an independently verified case here, apart from the security agencies, they will not move further. But it is sad that now we have brought this heinous politics and dirty politics we play into NANS and student affairs.
Unnecessary.
That's just it.
Well, we want to know who beats Comrade Isa. That really is what it is, and we want to see him in public. Finally, supporters of activist Martins Osher, also known as VeryDarkMan, are celebrating after the activist was released from the custody of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission after being held for 5 days. The EFCC said VDM was arrested due to multiple petitions alleging financial crimes and that he had previously failed to honor invitations for questioning. Well, here's the moment. Some protesters who took to the streets to demand for his release heard that he had been released. Let's take a look. Good news there for the supporters of VDM. They're called the Rattels, just so you know. Did you know that? Yeah.
I learned this yesterday.
You learned it yesterday. They're called the Rattels. Yeah. Well, it's good that, the EFCC has listened and, they have released him, and we'll follow up on the story. And, yesterday we were having that conversation about how, horrible it is for the EFCC to have detained him without releasing a statement. They released him at this moment. Your
yes.
comment.
I think one of the major things that sticks out to me is sort of the culture of catch and release that we've developed. And so because of that, I'll say I think it's very important for us to be able to see this case reach its logical end.
Absolutely.
Because whether it be VDM or any other personality, there are so many cases sort of lingering in the EFCC where we see that people are arrested, they are detained and so forth, they're questioned, and then we never hear about it again, or it resurfaces much later. So the catch and release, for me, I would urge the EFCC, please continue to carry us along in these cases and in your investigations, so that it doesn't seem as though you catch people and then, okay, once they're released, their docket just stays in a corner somewhere. Then the other thing is that, so he's released on, his lawyer says there's no conditions to his bail. However, his car and his phone are still with the EFCC. And they also made special mention to Femi Falana-San and said despite all that has happened between them in the past, he's said to have also made some appeals to EFCC as well. So I think that was very magnanimous of him. And last but not least, Deji Adeyanju made a comment, because there was conversation around the fact that this felt like a red herring. It felt like a distraction to just take Nigerian youth's attention away from the issues that matter and keep them busy with something. Well, the lawyer has come out to say that, well, that's not the case. Anyway, he's out now, so those who want to save Nigeria should go on and do so. But I think you can't blame people for also having these sentiments, because sometimes we've seen all sorts over the past few years. But, happy he's home.
In fact, you wanted to make a comment.
You see, the truth has to be said. I think we need to drum it into some people's heads. This matter is not about VDM.
No, it really hasn't been.
It's about the high-handedness in Nigeria that all of us can be a victim to one day. My boss that I cherish so much, President Obaigwana, will always tell the story of Frank Omenka.
Yeah.
When Omenka was riding road shoulder everywhere, he had the power then. He was jailing a lot of media people. But when Omenka needed help, that same system that supported Omenka to commit atrocity, that system came for Omenka.
All right.
Pretty much reminds me of Father Nemola. First they came, for some people I didn't speak up for them. When it was time to speak, when they came for me, nobody was left to speak up. And that's why I salute Falana. Yeah. He did what a lot of people cannot do. Speak up.
All right.
Just say it the way it is. Until date, we are still waiting on the EFCC to please bring out those charges, because we want accountability across board.
Yes.
A lot of people claim he said there's corruption in the EFCC. Yesterday I posted a picture. As at the days of Magu said that there are bad eggs in the EFCC. Yeah. They've always made allegations of bad eggs here and there. What we are saying is, EFCC, please detail whatever you have on him, what the petitioners wrote. Let us juxtapose what is available. What we are just saying is, whatever the petitioners wrote, Did it warrant you to come and gestapolically take somebody away that way? Because what will happen is that one of the sudden, they will just come and pick somebody. Maybe we will be live on the show, they will just come pick somebody.
No.
You're saying,
well, Rufai, like you said,
you're saying God forbid.
Like you said yesterday.
God forbid.
Like you said
who will have thought that in a democracy this will be happening?
Well,
don't say God forbid. Speak against evil. Fight it.
It's been going on.
Fight it.
Well, like you said even yesterday, that the current EFCC chairman did say that there are bad eggs within the EFCC as well. But you know, like you said, they seized VDM's phone. We are waiting for content. We are waiting to hear what really happened. What happened to him in the EFCC custody? What he did. We're waiting for the charges from the EFCC. Well, kudos to Femi Falana as well, and great that VDM is back.
There's the Julius Abure faction. There's the Nenadi Usman faction. But our guest, Dr. Abayomi Arabambi, has said that there's no such thing as a faction. That the Labour is one, bloc, one united party. But hey, this is what is in there. The Julius Abure, to just paraphrase the matter very and sort of summarize it, he's being accused by Nenadi Usman's faction of corruption, anti-party activities. They haven't actually explained what the anti-party...
Nenadi cannot accuse Abure of corruption.
Okay.
Nenadi cannot accuse Abure of corruption. Nenadi, as we speak, is under pre-bargaining. She forfeited a lot of property to the federal government, even as Minister for Finance.
Okay.
That matter is still pending. It's still pending there. So she is the head mistress of corruption.
Okay. Well, we have to be very... Dr. Arabambi, we have to be careful about what we say on air.
They accuse them of corruption. Yes. And I'm not saying that, it's in the public layer.
Okay, you are saying that a pot can't call a kettle black. What you are saying is that a pot cannot call a kettle black. I think that's what you're saying.
She was with the EFCC. I am not the one that took her to court. I am not the one that established before the federal court that she transferred 146 million from Ministry of Finance account to our account in 7 Kachiaro Zenny Bank. We have all the facts. You see me? Before I will talk, public document, you go to court, you ask for the certified copy, it will be given to you. Now, that my brother was talking about, Professor Baju told me, I said before that they have an ulterior motive. Most of the supporters, they are not happy for the fact that they lost the election by themselves, because Patutomi was also part and parcel.
But Patutomi and co, they are not in Labour Party. It's an interesting subject.
It's a lie. My dear brother, they are with Peter Obi. See, we know those who are these marauders. We know them. Don't let them deceive you. It was because of this our
your language. You just call them marauders. You just call them marauders.
No, why is he contemplating a shadow government? Do you know what is that? That is a criminal act, because you are now trying to leverage a war against a sitting administration in order to force that person out of office.
Okay.
Or to overthrow the administration.
That's the read. That's the read that you have of Patutomi's efforts. That's the read you have.
What's the shadow government?
Well, they have argued that there is nothing in our constitution that expressly prevents it. Yeah. That's the way they argued it.
Okay, so now in our constitution, now when you have a democratically elected government, some other people, they will also now go and form their own shadow government and now be dictated to who under which constitution. Yeah. Is it 1999 constitution amended, or constitution of 3,000 years ago as amended when we are still under the British rule? Let's get a fact clear. All of them, they are looking for a platform for political installation. Their target is to overthrow President.
I'm going to come back to you. But let me quickly come to hear from your colleague in the studio, Mr. Adenuga, because now they've gone and brought this one in.
And to other matters now, in Rome, officials and staff involved in the upcoming conclave have taken the oath of secrecy in the Pauline Chapel of the Apostolic Palace. This oath is mandated by the Apostolic Constitution Universi Dominici Gregis, which was promulgated by Pope John Paul II in 1996. The oath was administered by Cardinal Kevin Joseph Harrell, the Camerlengo of the Holy Roman Catholic Church. All individuals, including both the clergy and the laity who were approved by the Camerlengo, and the 3 cardinal assistants participated in this solemn ceremony.
Did Pope Francis tell this cardinal not to join the conclave? This is Cardinal Angelo Giovanni Becciu, once one of the most powerful figures in the Vatican. But in 2020, Pope Francis told him to resign from his position, although formally remain a cardinal, after he was implicated in a Vatican financial scandal. But in 2023, he became the first cardinal to be convicted by the Vatican's criminal court of embezzlement and fraud. Cardinal Becciu has always said he's innocent and has launched an appeal. Whilst that is being considered, he hasn't faced any sanctions or convictions. So could he still participate in the conclave? He certainly thought so, telling a newspaper that there was no explicit will to exclude him. But he later withdrew, saying he had decided to obey the will of Pope Francis not to enter the conclave. An Italian newspaper said Cardinal Becciu was shown 2 letters signed by Pope Francis saying he couldn't participate in the conclave. But neither Cardinal Becciu nor the Vatican have ever commented on the existence of these letters.
In our first story, the federal government has set up a new committee to take a hard look at the National Youth Service Corps and recommend big changes that could reshape its future. Now, it was announced in Abuja on Tuesday, and the move comes amidst growing concerns about the safety of corps members, the poor state of NYSC facilities, and whether the scheme still fits into Nigeria's current realities. Now, according to the Minister of Youth Development, Ayodele Olawande, the NYSC has played a vital role in uniting Nigerians since 1973. But times have changed, and the scheme needs to catch up. The committee, made up of voices from government, civil society, and the private sector, will review how the NYSC operates, listen to feedback from across the country, and suggest ways to make the scheme safer, more creative, and more valuable to young Nigerians. They will also look into better funding, performance tracking, and potential updates to the law. The final report will go to the minister within a set timeline. Now, the NYSC was put in place after the Civil War in 1973, and it was a tool that was supposed to unify young Nigerians and give them a glimpse into all other tribes and cultures and unify Nigeria. But I think it's high time that it moves from just a symbol of national unity to actually a resource that could help young Nigerians enter the workforce and give them tangible tools. Let's take a look at social media. I think this is wonderful. This is the Minister for Youth Development, Ayodele Olawande. He says, "Today, I inaugurated the NYSC Reform Committee alongside the Minister of Education, Dr. Maruf Tunja Lausa, and the Special Advisor to the President on Policy and Coordination, Hajia Hadiza Bala Usman, to initiate a comprehensive overhaul of the National Youth Service Corps." Sir, we salute you. We'll take 2 more tweets on this. Isa says, reforming the NYSC is long overdue, and it's encouraging to see a serious commitment to making the scheme more relevant and impactful for today's Nigerian youth. I hope the committee delivers practical solutions that truly empower young people and align the scheme with the country's development goals. I'm looking forward to positive changes. That is all we can do, Isa. We'll take 1 more tweet. The Global says, "Dear Minister of Youth at IO Wisdom, this is an appeal that while trying to overhaul the NYSC, involve some people in the system so that they can provide recommendations to and tell you where the shoes are tight. Involve us as a stakeholder." Signed, J.A. Very interesting. It would be good to actually have them listen to the youth and their concerns and put policies in place that look out for them as they serve the country.
The Youth Service Corps, or the NYSC, is overdue for reforms. So I really like the fact that a committee has been put together to look at the NYSC and see how it can be improved. I know that one of the biggest problems with the NYSC is funding, because NYSC facilities are running down, and it is just clear that the funding is not right. Is it still important? That is the committee's work to do, you know.
For the matter of the NYSC, the talk about reform has been on for quite some time. At some point, they said that there is the possibility of increasing it to 2 years. And the question was, is it even necessary to increase it to 2 years at the end of the day? But I like the fact that they are highlighting the security of corps members, because you have heard of stories of people traveling and they were kidnapped. There are those who had even accidents. I'm looking forward to the reforms, but they must involve the NYSC, the corps members, in whatever discussion they are having, so it can be holistic and it can address the issues they are facing, the peculiarity of the issues they are facing.
Well, Nigeria is a good country. Nigeria is evolving, and definitely we'll get it right one day, because we'll just keep taking one step at a time. NYSC, which is now being talked about, oftentimes year in, year out, batch A, batch B, stream 1, stream 2, whatever you want to call it. What I know is that we need to constantly, advocate for betterment of our youths. Starting from when they offered. Well, it's under compulsion that you serve your country. So if you're being put under compulsion to serve your country, they have to put everything in place to make sure that you're fine. Now, whenever you travel, your safety is of utmost priority. When you get to the destination, the facilities in which you're housed, they must be in very good condition, because most of these facilities are actually outdated. So they need to work in it. And they also need to work on the legal framework, because since 1973, yes, it has united Nigerians. There is no doubt about that, because we see in the NYSC programs, I think on our channel, where you see corps members getting married. I have a friend of mine who got married to an Igbo lady, just from the southwest. So it has really, really united us, regardless of how we see, because for every good thing, you will only see the opposite side. But I think it has more positive side to it than the negative sides to it. So let's keep working at it. We want a better country, and whichever way that we think we can do it, we should just, emphasize. We should work at that.
And I think that as the younger generation, as our needs constantly change and the political climate changes, it would be great to see the government meet us where we're at in terms of what the NYSC needs. I saw somebody tweet that the first thing the committee should focus on is the boots that are too tight. We need to get there.
I have the same experience.
I tell you.
President Bola Tinubu will be commissioning some legacy projects of the Chukwuma Soludo government.
Here's a brief review on what's trending around the globe. One Cardinal Francis denied access to the conclave. In a surprising move, Cardinal Francis was barred from attending the conclave, raising questions about internal Vatican politics and signaling possible reforms in church leadership. 2. Appointing a new conclave. Following the controversy, a new conclave has been appointed, with speculation swirling over key candidates and a potential shift toward more progressive leadership. 3. NYSC scheme to be reviewed. The Nigerian government has announced plans to review the National Youth Service Corps NYSC program, aiming to address security concerns, unemployment, and relevance in today's job market. 4. NANS President Isa Abubakar's apology. Isa Abubakar, President of the National Association of Nigerian Students NANS, issued a public apology over recent remarks that sparked outrage, pledging reforms in the association's approach to student advocacy. 5. Release of VeryDarkBlackman. Popular content creator VeryDarkBlackman was released from custody after a brief detention, sparking celebrations among fans and raising discussions about freedom of expression on social media.